Kroger employee paychecks held up, but corporate stock options apparently are still working. Major sewage plant was hacked and raw sewage spilled into the creek. And we're not talking about a little bit of sewage. We're talking about a lot of sewage, million gallons plus. Water heaters now being banned in some states, and big dairy issues in Oregon. Will that be spreading to other states? And so many more reports from you guys from all over. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. These are your reports coming in from all over. Please do keep sending them in. To do that, just reply back to a comment, reply back to this channel on a comment, and use the word update somewhere in there. That'll get it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, before we dive in. They do a fantastic job helping people get out of stocks and bonds and risky things like that in their retirement portfolios. You need to be pivoting to more stable assets. And in this case, the most stable of all is gold, silver, and platinum metals. Physical metals in your retirement account. If you want to learn more, there will be a link at the end of the video. If you do reach out to Genesis Gold, make sure you mention this channel so they waive your setup fee. Let's jump into it. Mike says Kroger did not get their paychecks out due to a problem at corporate. So I don't know how widespread that was, but definitely paychecks got held up, at least for some folks. And you all know how that can really mess you up, right? You're expecting that paycheck right on that date, and you go and the money's not there. You don't get the checks, you don't get the ACHs, and if you ever cut things close, like I'm sure we all have at some points, right? That can really mess up your systems and can mess up your payments to different products and different utilities and such. NC Prepper says, went to purchase a new oven/stove, and they have changed the coils. So apparently new electric stoves have new coils. I can produce, so I asked if I can use a canner on the new coils. The lady asked if I needed constant heat. Bottom line, they have changed the coils to be more green. Yay for cow farts. So basically the coils are pulsing more. So when they get up to temperature and then they turn off, and then they turn back on, and that's kind of how they're being more efficient. But it can mess up things that need consistent heat. I don't know. I don't know if that'll have impacts for canning. I don't know if that'll have impacts for cooking. But I promise you that the people who did this did not do it because it's better for you as a cooker or you as a canner. They did it because it's better for the planet. And you should take solace in that, knowing that you are doing your part. Yeah. Sorry, I got caught in my throat. Thomas says the Dallas sewer treatment plant got hacked and 1 million gallons of raw sewage spilled into a creek that ended up in Dallas's White Rock Lake. 1 million gallons of raw sewage spilled, friends. And that was a hack. That was malicious. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't an oopsie. That was someone maliciously hacked the system and turned knobs. And this is why we're seeing that report and warning that has gone out, warning us about water systems inside the United States being hacked. Sewage going into streams is not good. And I don't think there's any possible way that they can put sewage into drinking water. But if you put it in the creeks and there's water intakes downstream, that's basically the same thing, isn't it? But water treatment, they crank up the chemicals a little bit, and that water turns into poison. We're going to be talking about one of these days how much water is poison already, tap water is, but that's a whole conversation for another day. But let's just say I've grown up my entire life just drinking tap water, and I'm not a guy that really is into all of that that stuff, chemicals and everything like that. But the more I've looked into it, the more troubling tap water truly is. And that's even before some hackers start tampering with it. So might be thinking about whether you should really be drinking tap water anymore in the first place. Amy in Kentucky says, on Amazon I tried to purchase a point of use electric water heater. Every single product was labeled in red that it cannot be shipped to my address in Kentucky, whether it be gas or electric. Most of the point of use water heaters were in stock. Very troubling if you want a water heater in the future. These green agendas are just creeping on us. Everywhere we go, it's just one thing after the next. Things that you're not allowed to have because some bureaucrat somewhere crunched the numbers in the way that they wanted to crunch them and determined that it's not good for you. It's not good for the planet, right? I mean, electric cars are a perfect example of that. You don't actually save emissions with an electric car until it's like year 4 or 5. You have to drive it for almost 5 years before you even hit the brake even, because electric cars take so much more emissions, more farts to produce, right? It takes a lot more to produce them, but it's funny how they never count that, right? They never count that cost, even though, I mean, like anyone with a reasonable fairness would absolutely count that. But they want to push their agenda, and so they don't count that. They don't count how much it takes to produce the vehicles. They just count how much you're saving by not. And then they just assume that all the power that's going into your car is coming from solar, which it's not. And they don't even want to talk about how much it takes to produce those solar panels either, which is powered. Those factories in China are powered by coal, by the way, that make the solar panels. Anyway, Carrie says two of the grocery stores in my area are totally out of spring water. They said despite being on sale this week in the brochure, they did not get any shipments to our store. Now that's in Ohio. They didn't get any shipments of the water that was going to be on sale that week. Now the sales, unlike previously, before it was like they had sales because oh, we have too much of this, let's put it on sale. Nowadays, what they do is they schedule the sales in order to be optimizing the price fluctuations in order to trap the most people spending the most money. That's why I hate those stores. I hate regular grocery stores that have these sales and all that kind of stuff like that. I'll admit, I like Walmart and Aldi for the very reason that they don't play those games. I walk into the store, I'm getting a fair price every single time. I appreciate that because, I mean, you can get better sales with these stores that are grocery stores, but who has the time to play all those games? If you have time to play those games, or if you're buying for a bigger family, that makes sense. I get it. But for us who are cooking for one, it's just easier just to get good, decent prices all the time from places like Walmart and Aldi. Anyway, the stupids say, not stupids, the stupids, ordered a refill of Manjaro, which is for diabetes, and was told maybe by May 31st. Friends, it's March. And you're going to tell us about maybe a refill on May 31st? That's over 2 months away. And this is what we're hearing about medications, especially for diabetics right now, is that these things are not available. They've misplaced all of the stockpiles of them, and no one can get them. It's not just the insurance hack. It's also there just aren't enough to go around. Jay says in Springfield, Oregon, dairy products are starting to be slow to be restocked. 3 grocery stores all had empty shelves of heavy cream and half. Butter is low, ground beef is low. When you do find it, it's offensively expensive. Oregon is playing games with all sorts of things, from messing with farmers as well as restrictions on how much square footage chickens have and and all sorts of stuff like that. But they're really messing with dairy right now, and we're seeing dairy impacts in Oregon especially. But I'm not sure if it's spreading to other states nearby, Washington State, California, Idaho. If you guys are in those surrounding states and seeing issues with dairy, let us know about that as well. Clickin' Chicken says, regarding the crime issue, there's a FM radio public service station up here in northern Minnesota that says, and I paraphrase, and this was like an advertisement, right? If you see an officer being attacked, call 911. Ask the officer if he needs help. If he agrees, try and help in the safest way. And it goes on. Then it goes on something about filming with your smartphone as a last resort. Sort of lost some of the memory of it, but isn't that a totally crazy sign of the times? Used to be, if you see somebody attacking a police officer, you would help them just no matter what, right? Do whatever you can to help them because they're an officer of the law. Now, no, you're not supposed to do that. According to the government, you're supposed to stand back and maybe record it with your cell phone. You know, ask them if they would like your assistance. Absolutely insane these days. Now, I mean, obviously, if they're in a scuffle, they don't want you getting involved in such a way where they confuse you as an attacker, right? That's a whole other thing. But to not save people, to not help people when they're in danger, especially when they are someone who's doing the job of protecting society, supposedly, that's just the sign of the times, isn't it? Jones says, Canada is facing a carbon tax starting April 1st. Isn't that an April 1st joke? Yes. Canada is right on the money. This will hit farmers and truckers first. Wonder if the truckers here are worried because I was, and this is probably punishment. Punishment for what truckers did a few years back, if you recall. You think a carbon tax that hits truckers and farmers wasn't targeted as political retribution? Much of this is political retribution. I wonder if the truckers here are worried because I was on a 5 stretches of I-40 and I counted 18 wheelers going west. When I go east, and I normally count 21 to 25 on average, today there was 123 heading west. I can't see their licenses, but that was over the top. So normally 20 to 25, today 123 trucks heading west. Unicorn Purple says, wow, I just come back from the small local grocery, Roche Brothers, maybe 5 stores in total. They cut their produce area by 30%. So if you want fresh produce and you go to these grocery stores, 30% less space on those shelves. And they've widened the aisles. They have wood bundles outside instead of produce. So where they used to have produce, they now have wood bundles. Time to get my seeds in my pots. And that's not a bad idea, right, folks? It's garden season, and if you're watching the clock and watching the calendar as to when your plants should be going in, you're in the right ballpark. So if you haven't already started seeds at home, you might want to do that. Or if you're going to go to the store and buy starts because you're cutting some corners, I've done that before. And I'm going to have to do that this year because I'm out of country for the first bit of planting season. But I'm going to get some slightly grown-up plants in the ground as soon as I get back because, we all need to be getting more self-sufficient. That's super important to all of us. It's super important to the people around us because the way the things are going today, they want to control your food supply. Oregon is doing that, all that nonsense out there, going after gardeners and people with chicken coops and just absolute insanity what's going on. And you realize that what's happening out there in Oregon is coming to the rest of the United States soon. They are after us because they want us completely dependent upon them so that they have total control over us. And the biggest thing you can do for your liberty is stay out of their control. Stay as independent and need nothing from them. If you need nothing from them, they don't have any control over you, right? All right, friends, if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.